I don't know his name or what he looks like, but I have a much more certain guide. I can tell exactly what he looks like inside. When I undertook this correspondence, little did I know I'd grow so fond. Little did I know our views would so correspond. He writes me what his feelings are on Swift, Vermeer, on Shaw, Benoit. The more I read, the more I find we're one in mind and heart. I know the kind of home we share, the books, the prints, the music there. A home, a life that's warm and full with music and art. I don't need to see his handsome profile. I don't need to see his manly frame. All I need to know is in each letter, each long revealing letter, I couldn't know him better. I know him so well, Alona. I know that he's kind and smart and terribly well educated. I know all this about him and so much more. It's just that I've never met him, that's all. He writes his hands, his thoughts to me on Swift, Vermeer, Dick, where do you say?
Suppose he screws like a locomotive. Suppose he grinds his teeth. Suppose he's a knuckle cracker. Amalia. With your books. And another small detail that inside.
He has the
Shakespeare when you and him are all in line.
The more
Maybe it doesn't matter, man. You're too much about myself to the library card. And a ground.
I don't need to see his handsome profile. I don't need to see his manly frame.
I was taken in by someone's
praise
praise.
in each
Oh, how I could
letter,
have used
each
one
long
more
revealing letter. I couldn't know him better if I knew his name.
I knew his name. What's in a name?
Thank you, ladies. It's you're fun at parties, aren't you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
And you're bringing that to this performance, which is totally lovely, right? So I'm one of those guys that like has crushes on musical theater actresses. So I'm thrilled that you're just like diving into it, and I think that's totally awesome, right? I felt like echoes of the period, which I think is also nice, like the way that you kind of presented yourselves. It's funny what I was thinking. Here's the thing. I thought you sounded great. I thought that the intentions that you were doing were great. I thought that you were bringing out the humor, the lightness of it. So I had to dig in a little bit to kind of find something to work on. And here's what I wanted to work on. Let's look at our hands. Okay. So the funny thing about musical theater and performing is that our hands are going to be seen by the audience, right? So we have to look at them as tools in telling our stories. And there are moments when you are doing that, but not all moments. You should take advantage of those moments at every moment, because you're so lovely, you're likable, and I already was like, oh, they'd be fun at the party. So there are opportunities that sometimes are right in front of our faces. And to me, this is an example of that. Because vocally, I know she'll talk about it, but I was really pleased with everything you were doing vocally, and that's why I'm going into this. Here's what I kept thinking of. I know this is not exactly period, but you both have these lovely skirts. And I thought, what can your hands do? Well, one thing they can do is grab your skirt. And you could use it like to emphasize something, right? So just try that a little bit. Right now. Make like a choice about it. So now I'm not saying, and again, you gotta understand like coloring. So I'm talking about coloring. So you're not coloring outside of the lines, but you can kind of color and then pull back to make sure that it's a part of the story. It's also with a letter, like you had the letter, and again, hands. And I watched you looking at it. Now what I would suggest, again, because people have used props and whatever you want to feel, but I feel like it's the same extension with hands. If you have a letter, you should consider having a letter.
And instead of having plankton drawn on it, we can have words.
Yes. No imagination, but if you can set things up to help you. Right?
Plankton.
This is why you're fun at a party.
Plankton. That's plankton.
But the point is that if there's really this letter you're referencing, what would it say? And what would you really be able to look at so that you're like, what? You especially. You get to a line and you're like, excuse me? Like we've all done, when you look up, you're reading something, you're like, did you see this plankton? So what you're doing is you're layering story. You are making sure that the work that you're doing vocally and the work that you're doing with your interpretation is just even that much more, right? So what's the very beginning, ladies? Because that's usually the best way to start. What's the very beginning?
We're meeting together at a bench so I can tell her about this boy that I really like.
Can you just do the most ridiculous thing for me? And because I want to make sure Joe has the time to talk to you, can you come in and like over-exaggerate using your skirts until you sit down? Can you just try that? Like just like, you're just like both spinning because the day is so lovely and oh, your skirts and do-do-do. Okay,
I'm in love.
just see what that feels like, okay? Can we try that with the music? How would that be?
I love it.
Okay.
It's hilarious. Then we'll know, oh, here comes a funny song.
Yes, right.
That's right. That's right. A little foreshadow, right, at the beginning.
He's exaggerating. Is that still going to sit down? Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. So, thank you. So how did that feel?
Good.
How did you feel good?
I felt excited.
And are you excited? And how did you feel?
I felt freezing.
Yes. And see. But the point is, and thank you for indulging, the point is that characters are always coming from somewhere and they're going somewhere. And because you all are just like lovely, there are opportunities to explore that with your hands, with your skirt, with coming in, setting, and then making sure you're on point with the story. But you've made those decisions. And for us, it might be like, oh my gosh, they're just coming in like swinging their skirts. But you've made that decision. So the next time you approach it, you're just like, oh, I'm swinging my skirt. And then oh, wait, we got something to talk about. It totally gives us all, and it sucks us right in, like the point of a pencil. And you're all capable of that. It's just that if you do that work, your delivery and your performance just excels. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah.
Oh, we're at 2 minutes. You ready?
Plankton letter.
We're at 2 minutes. Okay. So now, going along with your plankton letter, as you come in and you're doing this with your skirts, now I would want to see you invite her to sit down so you can share this lovely letter. And then I want to know that that letter is like gold to you. So handing it to her, you do it very carefully. And I was like, what the heck? Is that insane? So can we do the beginning again with you coming in? Because initially, when you came in, there was this little and hug, and now we sit down. Right? There was no reason to sit down, really. So I was like, oh, I'm so happy to see you, and tell me your exciting news. Oh, sure, sit next to me. And I'll tell you all about it, and I'll show you the letter. Yeah?
With music or just?
Let's do it with music. And maybe a little.
Hello, how are you? I'm so good. So tell me about this guy.
Oh, well, sit down, of course. Well,
The golden letter. Well, hold on, be careful.
I don't know his name or what he looks like, but I have a much more certain guide. I can tell exactly what he looks like inside.
Sorry, Jacobs, what does the letter say?
When I undertook this correspondence, little did I know I'd grow so fond. Little did I know our views would so correspond.
Just right there.
He writes me what his feelings are on Swift, Vermeer, on Shaw, where walk. The more I read, the more I find we're one in mind and heart.
Okay, stop for 1 second. The next thing that I want is as soon as the duet actually starts, you start singing together, is that you need to hold back just very tiny and sing your little line while you're going, what, around her. Because there's a little bit of an imbalance at that point. It's always easier to hear the high notes than it is to hear the low notes. And that's actually, that's a fact. It's not because she's louder. It has to do with the number of sound waves in your ears. So as soon as it's her turn to sing, you can still look big but sing very tiny. And then yours one. Okay. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
Thank you.